Good enough. So, Arcane Mage, guys. The talents for Arcane Mage, you really don't really change these. Amplification just because it makes your Arcane Missiles hit like a truck. Increased damage by 48% at 4 Arcane Charges. Shimmer, because it's Shimmer, it gives you 2 blinks pretty much. That mixed with your Displacement gives you 3 blinks. Incanter's Flow, but just because it gives you extra damage, you can use the other talents as well, but I just think Incanter's Flow is the best. Resonance, because it makes your Arcane Barrage deal 25% increased damage per target it hits. Pretty much makes your Arcane Barrage hit like a truck. Chrono Shift, because it slows people and increases your own movement speed. And your Honor talents will work with that. Erosion, because it increases the arcane damage people take by 8%. Arcane Orb, because it does a ton of damage and also gives you arcane charges and gives you arcane missile procs. Mind Quickness for the haste. Prismatic Cloak for the 50% damage reduction after shimmering. Temporal Shield for the regen on your health whenever you take damage. Torment of the Weak, because it increases your damage by 15% whenever a target is slowed. And Master of Escape, because it reduces the cooldown of your greater invisibility. So the rotation for Arcane Mage is as follows. The burst is a Mark of Volunith, Arcane Power, Presence of Mind, Arcane Blast, Arcane Blast. That's all you really do. Whenever you don't have Arcane Power, or whenever you're just like kind of I don't want to say Arcane Power starved, but whenever you don't know what to press, I'd say just use Arcane Barrage. I mean, Arcane Barrage does a ton of damage, as you see there. I don't like, all I'm doing is pressing Arcane Barrage and Arcane Missile, and I'm doing a decent amount of shit. And this is the Arcane Mage rotation, sadly. It's just Arcane Blasting / getting 4 Arcane Power, and trying to kill people. There's a dwarf in the corner, so we'll kill that guy. And again, Arcane Orb will generate a decent amount of Arcane Barrage / Arcane Power, not is it Arcane Power? I believe it's Arcane Power. Pretty much Arcane Barrage generates Arcane Power. Generates a decent amount of Arcane Power as well. If you don't have Arcane Orb, you will just have to use Arcane Explosion to generate Arcane Power. Again here, just gonna use Arcane Orb to generate some stacks. Gonna use Mark of Volunith, going to get a cast off. He fades my Mark of Volunith like a god. Since I don't really have anything, I'm just going to use Arcane Explosion and Arcane Barrage again. And ideally you want to use Arcane Barrage in big groups of melee. You'll see here, I'm going to slow this guy, then use Arcane Missiles, because Arcane Missiles does hit fairly hard. He did die to everyone there. I'm gonna die here as well, most likely, but I might take someone with me here on the Alliance side. Maybe I will, maybe I won't die. We'll see. We'll go on the Druid. And again here, just you usually don't want to use Arcane Blast all that often. Most of the time I just run around and use Arcane Explosion and Arcane Barrage. And whenever you do have Arcane Missile procs, you are going to want to use that on your just target, and then dump all your Arcane charges with Arcane Barrage. So again, basic rotation is pretty much just Arcane Explosion till 4 Arcane Power stacks and Arcane Barrage. Arcane Barrage does hit pretty decently high. I'm just gonna die just because it has increased proc chance to proc Arcane Missiles. Arcane Blast better if you want more Arcane Missile charges for single target burst. That's true. Arcane equals lasers, yes. So again, Arcane Mage, all you really do, you run around, you press Arcane Explosion, you Arcane Barrage because it does a ton of damage, and you Arcane Missiles because it does a ton of damage, and you use Arcane Orb for the Arcane Power generation. So again, I'll do my best to explain here. I'm doing a horrible job at explaining Arcane, but I'll try and do a little bit better here. I'm going to throw my Arcane Orb on the healer. I'm going to slow the healer as well. I'm going to Mark Volunith him. I will get spell locked. I'm just going to Ice Block just because I know they're going to start focusing me. For some reason, they are focusing me a decent bit here, so we will go on the Hunter here. And all we're going to do is apply Mark Volunith, use Arcane Blast and Palm. Presence of Mind is what I mean by Palm. Wow. You do a bunch of damage, dude. And I'm already dead here, just so you guys know. I'm just gonna run away. It's the best strategy here. I'm gonna go on the ret here. I'm gonna slow him first, just for the extra damage increase, and then I'm going to Arcane Barrage him. Hunter is focusing me here like crazy, and I'm already dead. Cheers, boys. Fee jokes. Goodbye, friend. So, this battleground's not going too well. Their healers are definitely just shitting on ours. So trying to do my best to explain Arcane here, but it's kind of hard when you're just getting shafted. I'll try to explain Arcane on this guy, because it's definitely easier when you only have like one person to hit. So I'm gonna dump my Arcane Missiles, since I do have... Okay, so you'll see here, 2 Arcane Missiles procs, now I have 3. I'm gonna slow him, probably use Burst, and just use Arcane Missiles. Arcane Missiles will hit very hard. You'll see there, it pretty much almost killed him, I mean. Almost, as in, healer healed him. Would have died if he didn't have a healer, you know? Can't use anything here. That's kind of awkward. I'm gonna die here as well. God dang, Alliance. When did you get good? When was this a thing? So again, you'll see here this huge group. I'm just gonna run in, use Arcane Explosion, use Arcane Barrage. I'm gonna kind of jump back out again. I'll go on the healer here with all my Arcane Missile stacks, and again, dump all those on the healer. You'll see there it will do decent damage. I'm going to finish that with an Arcane Barrage, and again, just try and get some more stacks. You'll see I didn't get any Arcane Missiles, so I'm just going to use Arcane Barrage here. And again, if you don't have any Arcane Missile stacks, the best thing to do is pretty much just dump that Arcane Power with Arcane Barrage, and then just build the stacks up again. I'll try and burst this guy here. I imagine he kind of knows what he's doing, but we'll see what happens. And again, it's just Mark of a Luneth, Arcane Blast, Presence of Mind, Arcane Blast. And I almost got him. Almost got him, guys. But, of course, he is a healer. And healers will just live forever. So, I'm dead here. Healer's just gonna kill me. I'll let him kill me. You deserve it, man. Congrats. Alliance, when did you get so good? Maybe they're mercenaries, I don't know. But anyway, pretty much, Arcane Mage is, do you have 4 stacks of Arcane Charges? Yes. Do you have Arcane Missiles? Yes, you use the Arcane Missiles. If you don't have Arcane Missiles, you dump the Arcane Charges with Arcane Barrage. And then to build the Arcane stacks back up, if you have Arcane Orb, you want to throw that out in the big group. If you don't have Arcane Orb, you're just going to want to Arcane Explosion until you have 4 stacks, and then repeat the procedure of, do you have 4 stacks? Do you have Arcane Missiles? Do you have Arcane Missiles at 4 stacks? Then you use Arcane Missiles. If you don't have Arcane Missiles, then you just use Arcane Explosion and Arcane Barrage. So you'll see here, 2 Arcane Missiles. Gonna put that in the Demon Hunter, or the Hunter, my bad. And Burst here. Gonna use Mark of a Luneth. He will interrupt me. I'm gonna use it again here. He's probably gonna kill me here. I should have used that a lot earlier. And again, Presence of Mind. He does have a healer just healing him because he's a wiener. And, you know, I do have a lot of Arcane Missile stacks here, so I'm going to dump all those into the Hunter. And I do have Arcane Orb, so I'm going to use that to generate some damage. You're just playing the line of sight game. I love it. So, again, Arcane Explosion to get the 4 stacks. Once I do have those 4 stacks, I don't have any Arcane Missiles, so I'm going to use Arcane Barrage. Still don't have any Arcane Missiles, still don't have any Arcane Missiles, so I'm going to use Arcane Barrage again. Going to use Arcane Orb in that huge group. Going to use my slow and then Arcane Missiles on that guy. Going to throw my Arcane Barrage in that huge group because it does do extra damage per target it hits. And pretty much Arcane Barrage, or Arcane Explosion to get 4 stacks of Arcane Charges. Arcane Explosion again. Just die because Alliance is shitting on us. This is Arcane Mage, guys. The shitty Arcane Mage, admittedly, but... So, I'm gonna explain Arcane one more time as best as I can. All you do is you get 4 Arcane Charges through Arcane Explosion or Arcane Blast. Do you have Arcane Missiles at 4 Arcane Charges? If you do, use Arcane Missiles. If you don't have Arcane Missiles at 4 stacks, you dump your stacks with Arcane Barrage. And then you build your stacks back up with Arcane Explosion. That's all you do. That's all you do. And then if you have at 4 stacks, you know, if you have it 4 stacks, Arcane Missiles procs. Like right here. Hold on. Will that do damage? No, of course it doesn't. Demon Hunter just wants it. God, their whole team wants it. And again, I don't know, Arcane Explosion just to build stacks. Don't really have a whole bunch. Gonna see if I can actually kill this Demon Hunter here, but I doubt it. Yeah, he'll just fly away. That's what Demon Hunters do. Well, that's GG, guys. Probably the worst fucking explanation of a spec ever, but there's really not much to it. I'll explain just the rotation, I suppose, and then the burst. So burst, you're going to want to have 4 arcane charges. You're going to want to use Mark Valunith. You're going to want to cast 1 arcane blast. Once you get that cast off of arcane blast, you want a presence of mind. Use 2 more arcane blasts, and then use any of the arcane missile stacks that you do have, and then follow that up with an arcane barrage. When you're not bursting, the rotation kind of consists of using Arcane Orb and Arcane Explosion to get 4 stacks of Arcane Charges, and then if you have Arcane Missiles, obviously you want to use those. If you don't, then you just Arcane Barrage, and then build up your Arcane Charges again with Arcane Explosion or Arcane Missiles. It's kind of that never-ending cycle of just Arcane Explosions and Arcane Barrage and Arcane Missiles. You don't ever use Arcane Blast that much, but yeah, that's Arcane Mage. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. There's a lot of potential to it, but the very simple / basic playstyle of it is just build up arcane charges, use arcane missiles in those arcane charges and arcane barrage, and then just repeat over and over again. So that's Arcane Mage. I know I did a horrible job at explaining it, so that's my bad, but I did my best. I did my best, guys.